Welcome to AV 3100, Technical Communication for the Global Industry. My name is Shaylin Drake, and I am going to try to keep these lectures pretty short. So I want to just kind of jump right into it. I'm going to go over who I am, just let you get to know me a little bit. I have top 3 tips for you to be successful in this class to get started with. I want to talk a teeny bit about USU Aviation in our program, and then I need to tell you about the designations that this class has so you can kind of understand where we're going. So, like I said, my name is Shaylin Drake. A lot of you probably already know me, but for those who don't, I teach drones at USU Eastern in Price with Sean Barstow. So I teach the intro class, I teach fixed wing build, multi-rotor build, aerial photography, drones for hire, drones for projects. A lot of the upper division drones classes that are offered online are going to be through me. And I absolutely love drones. I am a complete nerd for drones. So that's probably the number one thing I want you to know about me. Second thing you should know about me is that I used to teach high school English. So I actually taught for Davis School District for almost 15 years. And I taught everything from Read 180 to AP to CE and everything in between. I was also a yearbook advisor for a very long time. And I taught drones starting at Farmington High School. I opened that high school. And when Davis School District decided to start teaching the drones classes, I was one of the first teachers they came to ask. The reason for that is I've been building and flying RC airplanes for 20 years. Turns out those are drones. So I had 20 years of aviation experience that I actually didn't even realize I had. I just did it for fun. But I learned a lot about building drones, flight principles, all those kinds of things that a lot of people learn by sitting in class. I learned by actually spending 20 years doing them. So I started the program at Farmington High School. I was the second concurrent enrollment drones teacher in the entire state. Most of you, if not all of you, have had the first concurrent enrollment drones teacher in the entire state, and that was Amy Monson. So the two of us obviously got hired at USU. She got hired a year or two before me, and after I got here, I got a third master's degree in aviation. My first 2 are in English and teaching. I'm a reading specialist. I can help you with any writing assignments. But anyway, after I got here, and actually as part of my master's degree, I went and got my private pilot glider rating. And obviously that's what this picture is of. That's me and my DPE. I went down to Maricopa, Arizona, in turbulence so high that it would take the nose of my glider and turn it 90 degrees. I absolutely love gliders. I have zero interest in single engine. But gliders for me are the most peaceful experience I've ever had in my life. I'm about a third the way through my commercial rating. I'll keep going through that. I'm also about a third the way through my AGI training, my advanced ground instructor training. And so I have just really dug into this whole aviation life thing. Obviously for fun, I still build and fly RC airplanes. There's actually one behind me in this lecture. That is one of my husband's. It's a Wilga, which is a glider tow, and he got to build that because that means I get a new RC glider. So I love that. I love kayaking, mountain biking. I have the widest variety of music you will ever hear. The only music I don't listen to is country, and for the record, Johnny Cash is classic rock, not country. So I like everything from classical music to heavy metal to cello metal to hip hop to Yellow Wolf and rap. Okay, so huge variety. Love hiking, love being outside, and I really enjoy teaching. I really, really love working for USU. This has been an awesome job for me, and hopefully I can see you guys in some of the other drones classes if I haven't yet. So my top 3 tips for this class. Number 1, get a hold of your textbooks early. You guys have Writing for the Technical Fields and 12 Universal Skills. They're both very cheap textbooks. I think only Writing for the Technical Fields is available in an electronic version, but I'm fine with e-versions. I'm fine with you renting them. Doesn't matter. Just get a hold of them early because we will use them right away. My other tip with the textbooks is to read it for sure, but read it like a college textbook. You're not going to read these word for word, okay? You're going to use them as a resource. You're going to kind of flip through the pages, look at the bolded words, look for elements that are numbered, things like that. That is how I expect you to use textbooks. We will use them, though. We will use them a ton. Get them, get used to flipping through them, get used to reading at least some of it, get used to using them as a resource. That is huge. My second tip is to look ahead and do some planning. So I know, especially if this is an online course, that what students do, and I'm totally guilty of this as well as a student, is that you get to know when the assignments are due, which in this class is mostly Friday evenings, okay? And you log in Friday morning and go to complete the assignment. That'll work in this class probably 60 to 70% of the time. The other 30 to 40% of the time, if you log in on Friday, no matter what time it is, you will not have enough time to complete the assignment. So when you log in one Friday, look ahead to the next Friday at the assignments that are there and actually do some planning. Last one, watch the lectures. I am going to try to keep them short, and I'm going to try to pretty much give away answers on things and really get to the point on them. So definitely pay attention to those lectures. I want to go over just a teeny bit about USU Aviation, and I've got a couple columns here. I want to talk about what's available, and then I want to talk about what we really actually are focusing on. So in aviation, we do have quite a bit available. Obviously, we've got our commercial fixed wing, commercial helicopter, aviation management, which most of you are aviation management students, aviation management with a UAS emphasis. We have a master's degree in aviation safety and technically a UAS emphasis, which is what I did. Then we have our UAS certificate. UAS is unmanned aircraft systems, okay, drones. So most of you are pretty much done. Like this is your last semester, your last year, whatever. But I want you to know what's available here, A, in case you do want to pick up some more, or in case you are a freshman or a sophomore and taking this class early. But B, I want you guys to be able to talk about our program to other people. Most of you probably, at least hopefully, by this point in time, have a little bit of pride in our program and in what you've accomplished. If you don't, I hope you can develop that. And we want you to share your experience, get people interested in aviation. Aviation is one of the fastest growing industries in the world, which we'll talk about a lot. And it's something that we need more people in. But in USU Aviation, I'm going to argue that our true focuses are more along the professionalism and soft skills kind of line. Like I said, it is one of the fastest growing industries in the world, and it's also, I would argue, one of the most professional organizations in the world. You are expected to be professional. You are expected to act with confidence and certainty. You are expected to kind of put yourself out there. You are expected to be able to talk to people. You are expected to make eye contact and have good body language when you're talking to somebody. And I would argue probably westernized body language. You have to be able to shake people's hands. You have to be able to look people in the eye, smile, stand close to people, stand straight and tall with confidence. You also are expected to be able to handle networking, to know how to do it, to know how to make connections. And those are things that we'll talk about a little bit off and on in this class. And then professionalism as a whole. You guys have probably heard the whole term or concept that on time is late and early is on time. That idea of being somewhere on time, and when you commit to something, even if it's a volunteer thing, you show up. You put yourself out there, you give your all to something, you are dedicated to more causes than just money. Money is important, but showing that you care about something, you care about the world around you, you can change your mindset on something, all of those things are professionalism. And then soft skills, being able to manage your time, being able to communicate, realizing that a revision is a good thing, that when you get a low score on something, being able to learn from it and make some changes is a good thing. All of those, I think, are our real focuses at USU Aviation. Course designations. This one actually has 2 designations, and what that means is for the class, there are specific rules that I have to follow. So the first one is a communication intensive course designation. For most of you, that's why you're in here. Not just because this is a degree requirement, because there are a couple of other choices you had, but the communication intensive designation makes it so you can graduate. You have to have at least one, if not two, of those classes. So the communications intensive purpose is to develop and write with purpose and consideration of various audiences in accordance with genre and disciplinary conventions, as well as ethical standards. In other words, you have to learn how to write. You have to learn how to write well. You have to learn how to write the same thing, but for different purposes. And you have to learn how to be professional in your writing. That's what this class is about, okay? You have to have a skillful ability to write. You have to use visual communication as appropriate and not use it when it's not appropriate. You have to accomplish intentional purpose in your writing. In other words, you have to know why you're writing what you're writing and do things on purpose. You have to engage with texts and source material. In other words, use your textbooks appropriately. And then you have to adapt written work to different audiences. One of the examples of that is we're going to do a job application package, and it's going to drive some of you nuts because you already have a resume done. I have 20 different resumes to turn into different organizations, different purposes, different causes, even just within USU. Different scholars, different publications, various grants, they all want a different version of my resume. Okay, you are going to make different versions of your resume in this class. This class is also a community engaged learning class, and what that means is you can apply if you get 2 classes that are CEL, community engaged learning classes. You can apply for a Carnegie Scholar designation on your transcripts, and you get a medallion, I believe, when you graduate as a Carnegie Scholar. So CEL classes are meant to be used as a Research 1 university. So only Utah State University and University of Utah are public Research 1 universities. BYU got their designation about 4 weeks ago, so this is spring of 2025 when I'm making this right now. And BYU just barely got their R1, but they're private. They're not public, obviously. So you only have a couple of opportunities to get this designation. There are 2 other classes that I teach that have that CEL designation. One is UAS 2650 and UAS 3650. Those are both community engaged learning classes. They do have a prerequisite of 1020, UAS 1020. Anyway, the goal of a community engaged learning course is to integrate meaningful community engagement with instruction and reflection. The 3 goals are to enrich learning experiences, teach civic responsibility, and to strengthen communities. In other words, to be caring and professional. Obviously, that goes along with these course goals really well. So this course, the work that is in it, the things that I have you write and reflect on are all based off of being communications intensive and a community engaged learning course. Okay, less than 15 minutes. Thanks for watching the lecture and keep it up.